One of the questions that has perplexed mission statement researchers is, what should be in a mission statement? Many studies have sought to understand the type of content that will lead to the best organizational outcomes. Here is a list that one researcher compiled to capture all the kinds of content that a mission statement could include. Are you seeing a problem? I've already lost your interest just listing the types of information that could compose a mission statement. Remember the purpose of a guiding statement: to motivate and inspire employees and to guide resource allocation. I don't know about you, but doctoral theses on an organization's market share, supply chain integration, and products offered aren't what get me to jump out of bed Monday morning, race to the office, work late to meet a deadline, and go home happy and proud and ready to do it again tomorrow. On the other hand, you can't guide employees' day-to-day activities and a firm's long-term operations with short, pithy quips about customer service and making a difference. So how do you sufficiently motivate and guide employees with one succinct statement? Well, the answer is simple: you don't. Don't try to make tedious lists of strategies and metrics inspiring. Don't try to mix vision with values. If a company tries to incorporate all these subjects into a single statement, it becomes cumbersome and unwieldy. If you only try to inspire employees with the ontology of the company, you neglect the actions to fulfill it. If you only focus on behaviors, employees lose sight of the why. Therefore, I and others recommend at least 4 different types of statements: the mission statement, the values statement, the vision statement, and a statement of strategic objective. Now, I'm going to make a video describing each different statement in detail, but I will summarize them here. I call these statements collectively guiding statements. The mission statement is, simply put, an organization's purpose, its reason for existing. The value statement explains the behavioral norms that the organization endorses and the philosophical beliefs behind them. The vision statement is a vivid description of the future state that the company is trying to create. And the statement of strategic objective is a statement of some overarching goal that the organization is trying to achieve. From there, the company may detail why they hope to achieve it and how. All of these types of statements contribute in a different way to motivating and inspiring employees and guiding resource allocation and decision making. By splitting up the guiding statements, you've made them shorter and conceptually distinct. This makes them easier to recall in different circumstances. Sometimes employees need to be inspired by the big picture, and sometimes they need something to help them know what to do next. Notice that these statements exist on a spectrum, with the most universal, aspirational, and enduring statements at one end, and the more specific, temporal, and practical on the other. With the statements on one end, you generate motivational energies. With the statements on the other, you direct and channel those energies. Before I continue, let me say that I'm not rigidly attached to you having exactly 4 guiding statements and that you label them exactly as I have. However, as I explain them in detail in later videos, I think you'll find that these statements function very differently from each other, and that each of them form a very important piece of the puzzle of motivating and directing employees. Here's a hypothetical example of how the statements work together, using a real-life at-home example. Say you wanted to build a deck. Your mission wouldn't be to build a deck, that's dull and obvious. Without mission and vision, the deck becomes a burdensome task, consuming your time and money. Instead, focus on the value of the outcome of having a deck. One way to say that would be to make your yard a space where people want to be together. As you build the deck, you don't want to do it at the expense of other more important things, so you create some simple values to abide by. In this instance, you are creating some values where you don't neglect your family's present pressing needs, and also make sure that you use family-friendly language next time you pound your thumb. While you're sweating outside with tired muscles and sawdust in your eye as you bandage your other thumb, you need a clear image of what it will be like to enjoy the fruits of your labors. See yourself enjoying the food, family and friends, and fireworks from the comfort and safety of your own backyard, laughing, drinking craft beer, eating ribs, smelling cedar, and most importantly, no mosquitoes. And finally, you identify strategies you will employ and constraints within which you will operate to remain profitable. For instance, build a long-lasting, code-compliant, 320 square foot screened-in elevated cedar deck using tools you already own behind the house by July 4th for under $8,000. Here's a real-world example of a company that uses all four types of statements. If you're watching this video after seeing the different guiding statements described in detail, just understand that I don't think that these statements are perfect examples of the individual statements. I just want you to get a sense of how a company would use them all together. They have a succinct mission statement about the valuable outcomes they want to produce. They list the values that are the most important to them, such as customer satisfaction, integrity, honoring commitments, the golden rule, teamwork, and innovative quality products. They have a clear and vivid vision of what it will be like, what you would see, hear, touch, and feel when they achieve their objective. And they have a measurable, time-bound strategic objective. The company can outline strategic activities in more detail in their policies, procedures, and other documents, and set up daily performance management tools to guide and track their progress. But these four statements set the goal, the tone, and the pace of the work. They're quotable and easy to memorize and recall when needed. Employees can think on them daily, and managers can refer to them in meetings, memos, and measurements to unify and organize work activities at all levels. The next series of videos will be dedicated to each type of guiding statement. And I'll go into detail about what each one is and what makes them bad, good, or great. I'm Carl Day, and your mission is my mission.